This week in Pacific Northwest startup news, it's broader than Portland this week. Techstars Seattle shutting down. Dtocs takes away Kickplan's Demolicious belt. UpStart Collective hosts their first Friday on the west side. And Reverend Nat West, known for his hard cider, but now running for Portland City Council. Let's get into it. How are you doing? Good to see you. Let's get into the news for this week. Okay, obviously the big story this week, Techstars Seattle is shutting down. Kind of like Chris DeVore, who is the longtime managing director of Techstars Seattle, said, "I'm saddened but not surprised. Techstars has been going through a lot of changes. I didn't realize they were going to pull away from the geographic model, but that appears to be what's happening with Techstars Seattle. It was really like the third program that they launched. You know, the Apocrypha, I don't know if it's the real story or not, but the story was that David reached out to Paul Graham at YC and said, "Hey, I'd like to do something like YC in Boulder." And Paul was like, "No, not interested." And so David was like, "Fine, I'll do it myself." And that's how Techstars began. So to provide some even additional history on YC started in Boston, but also used to have a cohort hosted in San Francisco, the Bay Area. It was probably in Mountain View, but it was in the Bay Area. And at some point along the whole time in this storyline, they decided to shut down Boston and go full time in the Bay Area. So David starts Techstars in Boulder. When YC pulls out of Boston, Boston then becomes the second Techstars, and they start kind of thinking through this network of Boulder and Boston, and then start looking around on the West Coast for somewhere to potentially put a Techstars, and Portland was on the list. I mean, I'd be lying if I didn't say that Techstars poking around Portland. I'd be lying if I said, how do I want to phrase that? I'd be lying if I didn't say that Techstars poking around Portland was one of the inspirations to convert Pi from a co-working space into a startup accelerator. We looked at what was going on. We said, if Techstars is interested in Portland, then maybe there's the need for an accelerator here. Long story short, the story's already so long. Techstars decides on Seattle, which is the right decision, obviously, and sets up a program there. Andy Sack runs it initially. Chris DeVore joins pretty quickly, and they build a really strong program. Lots of Portland companies attempted to get in. A number of Portland companies are alums of the Seattle Techstars program, and yeah, it's sad to see it go because it was a resource for founders in our community as well. And I'm always happy to see founders being supported. I'm always saddened by a loss of that support. So sorry to see Techstars go. But silver lining may be, that creates an opening and an opportunity in the Pacific Northwest for someone to kind of fill that gap and be helping folks with accelerating early stage venture scale startups. So again, sad to see Techstars go, but accelerators are hard. I speak from experience when I say accelerators are hard business. Not surprising, just sad. If this is interesting to you, like Portland startups, like the stuff I'm talking about, please subscribe. And then I'll send you this every week, just automatically. It's like a gift for you, from me to you every week. It's a gift, but you have to subscribe to get the gift. So just do that. Now, speaking of early stage startups and Techstars, as folks know, kind of prepare people for pitching. We have something where people can pitch that happens on a monthly basis called Demolicious. And the idea behind Demolicious is that people get up, they talk about what they're building, they kind of demo it, hence the name Demolicious, but it's a competition. So what happens is after everybody presents their pitch, then the crowd says, well, you did really well and I like you, so you're getting my vote. And after the votes are all tallied, there's a belt, a championship belt, that is handed off to the winner. And that winner needs to then come back and defend that title each month, so long as they hold it. So this month's Demolicious was the first defense of the title belt. And as luck would have it, it changed hands. So the winner this month was Dtocs, which makes a palm-based, environmentally friendly system of plates and utensils and all those kind of things, so that you're not throwing plastic into the garbage, basically. And, completely compostable, all that kind of thing. So, they told a really good story. They knocked Kickplan off of the championship level and took the belt. So next month, Dtocs will have to defend that belt against a whole string of new companies that are coming hungry to take the champ down. So you'll have to tune in to the next Demolicious, have to show up. You can't even tune in. It's not live streamed. It's live, in person pitching. If you're interested in pitching, you can always submit an application to pitch, and everybody's invited to attend. It's open to everybody, so I encourage you to do that. Demolicious once a month. Pretty exciting pitch competition for the community. So if that sounds interesting to you, please take the time to attend. Speaking of trying to garner votes and being a winner, Rev Nat West is running for Portland City Council. This one's super interesting to me. There are often complaints about public government and them being out of touch, not realizing what startup founders are going through, or even what entrepreneurs are going through. But if voting goes the right way, that may all change for Portland, because Nat West, known as Reverend Nat of Rev Nat Cider, is running for District 2 Portland City Council. So he dropped a kind of a campaign video that I'll link up so that you can see it on the YouTube and hear what he has to say about Portland and the communities and the neighborhoods and why he loves it here. But this will be an interesting one to watch, because apart from maybe, Chloe Daly, who was a bookstore owner, we really haven't seen a lot of entrepreneur startup thinking type people on Portland City Council. And with the form of government changing, the impact of city council changes as well. So not telling you who to vote for. That's a crowded race. And you need to make your own voting decisions, but I do encourage you to take a look at Nat and see what he's up to. Now, I'm just always really impressed with Nat. He recently decided to shut down the cidery. So, and now he has time to run for political office. So curious to see what happens. Keep an eye on that one. And I will keep you informed with what's going on, and if any other founders or even entrepreneurs join the race, so that you can keep an eye on all the districts and what's happening with city council, because in many ways politics is kind of like starting a company. Like, you're kind of starting a campaign, and then you're trying to make changes, trying to make things happen, trying to take a new perspective. So, and especially with the new form of government, it's going to be a little crazy for the next few years. So let's see what happens, and keep an eye on that race, and I'll keep you informed from a startup perspective about what might be happening that's of interest to you. So I got that. Don't worry, like, if you don't have time to focus on it, I'll try and highlight these things, like Rev Nat running. So we'll see. Speaking of hard cider, that has me thinking of like happy hour kind of stuff. And this is the last Friday of February. So the last Friday of the month means that next Friday is the first Friday of March. And on first Fridays, UpStart Collective hosts a First Friday gathering for the entire community. Now, this has been a growing thing at UpStart Collective on the east side, but the big news for March is they also now have a west side location in the old Portland State Business Accelerator building. They're on Southwest Corbett, just up from the Southwest waterfront So First Friday, new location this week. If you're a regular attendee of First Friday, don't show up to the east side, show up to the west side. If you've never been to a First Friday and you're like, oh, the west side's more convenient for me to get to anyway, well then great. Show up to First Friday, hang out with the community, get to meet some people, learn more about UpStart Collective. What could be better for a Friday afternoon? But that's not today, that's next Friday. So I'll remind you next Friday as well. But please just mark it on your calendar. Just be like, I gotta go to this thing. Block a little time. Cool. Well, that's it this week. Hope you're holding up. February flew by. This year is crazy so far, and I hope you're hanging in there. But until we get the chance to chat again next week, or if I drop a video before next week, please keep up the good work.